what's up, y'all? I'm back with another video, and I'm posting this real soon because y'all showed mad love on the last video I posted. I'm already at 3K views in one day, so I wanted to drop another video right fast because y'all showed love. So today I'm going to be showing y'all the best Berserker build in my opinion, the best PVE warrior build, which is going to be like Immortal Berserker. That's what I'm going to call him, the Immortal Berserker, because this build's survivability is just insane. I'm pretty sure this has the most survivability in the game. Not sure about that though, because I'd have to see what other races do, but basically, this build, its main gimmick is Aegis Battle Lore. This is the best, in my opinion, the best Battle Lore for Berserker. Unless you're going PvP, then you can probably get Savage or something else, but in my opinion, Aegis Battle Lore is the best aura for Berserker because it reduces damage, it absorbs all damage you take to a certain amount. So, here, let me pull my weapon out, recall my spider, and then show you. It'll block 275 damage for 10 seconds. So anything that does less than 275 is getting blocked immediately. So you will take no damage. Basically, you take no damage for 10 seconds because when you have in-game armor, which I'll go over in a second, and then armor, which reduces damage by 40%, you can get way more if you min-max your gear. My gear isn't even min-max. This build can be way better if you min-max it. So basically, if you take an attack that does 100 damage, right? And then you have negative 40%, you have 40% damage reduction. That attack's only going to do 60 damage. So the same logic can be applied at higher numbers. So instead of 275, it's really blocking like 340-ish, 330-ish damage. So anything that does 330 or less is automatically getting tanked for is automatically getting absorbed. So you can really tank any attack in the game. It's broken. And then on top of the fact that if you have Shield God's Ring, which while Hyper Armor is active, damage is reduced. This build always has Hyper Armor because Enrage and Cataclysm crit. I believe Cataclysm is the best weapon for this. You can use the new ones too, but I believe Cataclysm is the best weapon because the crit has Hyper Armor. So when you crit, you're doing damage, but you have damage reduction. And then you have Enrage, which when you pop Enrage, you have infinite Hyper Armor unless you get hit with like a deafening attack or something. I feel like that's a bug because if you get hit with a deafening attack, it just takes away your Enrage completely. So Enrage Hyper Armor, which is reduced damage. Aegis Battle Lore blocks any damage coming in. And then you have negative 40, or you have 40% damage reduction. So basically, when you pop Aegis Battle Lore and Enrage, you can deal damage, do whatever you want without getting hit because you have infinite Hyper Armor and you have infinite damage block because of Aegis Battle Lore. And then for the skills, I choose fourfold Slash of Light. You can use Mortal Strike, but I feel like for getting credit and it's easier to hit and does more damage, this one I feel like fourfold Slash of Light is better. But you could easily get away with Mortal Strike. Hindsight Slash, the bread and butter of warrior damage. This does the most damage. This is your most damaging skill. And then this is a new one, Assault. I didn't use Assault before the re-release, but I've been seeing people use Assault and it's good. You could use Bloodthirst instead of Assault, but you don't have enough like rage bar for it. And then Counter, obviously the best move because it takes anything, does a lot of posture damage, and reflects an attack. Then what gives this build so much survivability is these 4 skills. These are the most important parts. Blood Rage, instant heal for 140. Blood Surge, instant heal for like 140. So that's 280 healing. Then Enrage, infinite Hyper Armor. So you get infinite Hyper Armor, do whatever you want without getting interrupted. And then Aegis Battle Lore makes you invulnerable for 10 seconds, really broken. So that's the gimmick of this build. Aegis Battle Lore and Hyper Armor, and then these 2 regens. That's what you're going to be doing with this build. And then for the gear, you want the Mammoth Warrior Helm because it gives the most armor in the game, most stats. And then you want the Mammoth Warrior Plate because it gives the most armor and stats. And then you could do Abyssal Shroud here, or any cape of your choice. I have Rat Cape because it gives 2% crit chance and crit crit chance is broken on warrior. And then here, instead of the warrior's boots, I do the ice dragon pants, because the ice dragon pants, they give 3% crit chance. And you'll see what I mean. When you hit these crits on warrior, it does a lot of damage. So instead of running savage battle aura, you're going to be hitting slight crits instead to make up for the lost damage. And then you're going to want a Templar Aegis or the demon shield. I don't know its name. I think it's Riftguard or something. I don't know. And then you're going to put strength runes on it. And then Cataclysm, you could use in the any legendary axe, but Cataclysm is the best in my opinion because the crit is so good. And then I put Elder Trent Rune on it. Doesn't matter what runes you put on it, but I put Elder Trent Rune on it for more agility, which gives more crit rate. And then the rings, Shield God's Ring is a must-have because while Hyper Armor is active, reduce incoming damage. So when you pop Enrage, you're gonna have reduced damage reduction. When you pop your crit on Cataclysm, you're gonna have reduced damage. So this is a lot of Hyper Armor. When you do Hindsight Slash, if you hit the first part and then the second part, if you get hit, you're gonna get Hyper Armor. So Shield God's Ring is a must-have. Warrior's Valor's Ring plus 20 Strength, really good. And then since this is a PVE, you want your Milas and Lucky Ring for extra rolls on your fairy and extra luck, obviously. And then for the race, half Golem is the best for Warrior, I've heard. But I use Seraphim for the extra luck because I'd rather have more luck than more damage or damage reduction with half Golem. And then for skills, I use two-hand training, so obviously you can use these. Let me recall that. Greater counter, that's going to be really good against fighting bosses, any mobs. Okay, hold on. Alright, I'm back. That amphitheater was annoying as shit. Alright, anyways. For your skills, two-handed training, so you can use great swords and great axes, because great axes and great swords deal the most posture damage when fighting PvE. Then greater counter, this one's just really good for countering, but you can replace this if you want. Aegis Battle Aura, obviously, you want the defensive aura. This is the best one, in my opinion, for survivability. Makes you invulnerable for 10 seconds, even against the Ice Dragon. But the Ice Dragon does do enough damage to get rid of it. But that was only before I had the Mammoth Armor. I don't know about now. Focus Training 2 and 3, obviously, you're going to need a lot of focus regen. And then you want Enrage, Blood Surge, Blood Rage. All gonna keep infinite regening on these two, infinite hyper armor damage reduction on this two, on this one. Shield training so that you can use Templar Aegis, which gives a lot of stats. And then Assault. I mean, you could swap them out and see what you want, but I feel like those are the best. And also, I have a dual book popped, but this does not matter. And then if you want a mid-max, you want a Ruby Lantern, which gives 3% physical attack, or physical pierce, I forget which one. And then you want to mid-max these. The most important runes you would put is, you would put a Lobster and Crab rune on this, and probably a Coconut Crab rune. I don't know what they give, but Lobster and Crab rune give 100 armor, which is more damage reduction. So, that's the build. With that being said, I'm going to show you me fighting some bosses, show you the playstyle, show you why it's actually immortal, and why you can solo basically most things in the game as warrior. So I'll just cut to me fighting bosses. Alright guys, so I made it to Drogar and Lycanthar. I'm going to show you me killing them both. And remember, the bread and butter of this build are these two moves. And then also these two moves as well. So these four moves are really the bread and butter. These infinite regen, infinite damage reduction, basically invincible. These two make you invincible. These two regen your health for when you're not invincible. And it's just really broken. So I'm going to show you me killing them. Alright, so Drogar's broken right now. So my playstyle with this build is to normally use this, jump and use this, because this has an air variant, jump and use it, and then counter into crit so I can fill my rage bar, and then get a few M1s in, and after that they should be guard broken. And then once they're guard broken, just M1, and then when they become unguard broken, like when they get back up, you pop these two, and you just become invulnerable. So I'm going to show you. Counter. Okay, he interrupted. Slash, hyper armor that, and then enrage, and I'm literally invincible. I can literally do M1. Assault. Wait, I took damage, let me just regen it all back. I'm back to full. And this whole fight, I took no damage. It's really broken. And then I can crit, hyper armor crit, Hind slice slash, hyper armor, and then I just crit right there for 92 damage. Jump, air variant. He's literally dead and I took 200 damage. I could have done no hit run on that if I decided to parry. Now, Lycanthor, I haven't fought this guy in a minute. He might actually fuck me up, I'm not gonna lie. Because he has these combos that are really strong. But basically, with this build, if you posture break something, they're most guaranteed to be dead. So I'm gonna fight Lycanthor now. He's pretty hard, even with level 50 builds. But with these two off cooldown, you just become immortal. So jump, this, counter. Okay, I missed my counter, I suck. But look, watch this. I can just M1. He does no damage to me. M1, he can't interrupt me. He does no damage. Posture broken. He's already half health. Now for Lycanthor, you just run back. Because he gets really aggressive. And then you want to use these two when you start taking damage. Jump, this, parry, crit, hyper armor crit. You take no damage on that crit. And then, okay, I'll waste my counter. And then get your rage back. Now you take barely any damage during your enrage. I took some damage, so let me just regen. Parry, crit, back, parry, crit. Look, he's hitting me. Those combos normally can like kill half your output. Barely did anything. My rage bar is now full. I can just press 6, regen it all back. And then if I press 5 and hit somebody, regen it all back. So this is really broken. This build has infinite survivability, infinite combos without being interrupted. Literally become invincible for 10 seconds. It's just not fair. This is really like not fair. And this even works against the dragon. This combo right here works against the dragon. You become invincible against the dragon too. Alright, so we made it to the Goblin King. I'm gonna try and solo the Goblin King. The Goblin King's a really hard boss to solo because most people just cheese him over here on these doors, so they don't really know how hard he is to solo. But this build can solo him. But I'm not gonna lie, against the Goblin King, since he has so much health, you're gonna have to play like a bit safer when these two abilities are off cooldown. So you're gonna have to play a bit safer and less brain dead. But here, I'm gonna try and fight him. Alright. This is attack. Okay, that still hit me. Crit. Basically, you just want to build your rage bar as fast as possible so you can get your rage. Alright, I got my rage. Now I'm literally invincible. Watch this. No damage. Can't do any damage. And then I can seal everything up. But I'm out of focus now and I'm also out of rage. So I'm gonna come over here and put my rage bar up. I remember this guy one tapped me back before the game is released, and now he's doing no damage. Okay, I got his rage back. Now I can do some damage. That's just critical 156 with this. And this is a tank build critical 156, by the way. Let me go build my rage up. I'm lagging. I got my Templar Aegis up, just posture. And just like that. And I got a blessing show off that. So it's just like that, he soloed. I did get to 500 health, but I was lagging towards the end, so my abilities were getting cancelled. But I could just regen back up a little, go back in rage. But that's one of the harder bosses to solo. That's not a world boss, and it's just ridiculous, this build. Oh wow, there's a Trent right here. Alright, so I'm gonna try and solo the Trent, but this is a world boss, so if I can't do it, then it's because it's a world boss. Yeah, I'm not really doing this damage, but we pop our stuff and rage, and now Shrink literally can't do damage to me, and I can just spam my abilities. This is just really good. I'm literally full out. Alright, now my abilities ran out. I'm gonna counter, still took no damage. Then I'm gonna crit. Oh, I'm lagging. Hyper armor crit, and then you did damage to me. I'm just gonna heal up a little. He got posture broke. Are you serious right now? Can we not do this? Wow, that's unfortunate. Parry. And these vines are dangerous, so you want to get out the way of those. Alright, the crit, hyper crit, dodge, and then we have enrage back up in this, so now we can just do damage without taking damage. Spamming Cataclysm crit as much as possible because it does a lot of damage, a lot of posture damage. Same with counter. And now we're full rage bar. We can just run away and heal. And then also blood rage. Oh, never mind. I don't have enough rage for it. Hindsight slash, posture broke, M1, blood rage, and now I'm back to full health essentially. And even when he does hit me, it's not a lot of damage. Also, the Templar Aegis, you can block attacks with this. Normally, basically every attack in this game is an instant guard, but the Templar Aegis, you can block some attacks. So that's even more survivability. Alright, Barry, get out the way of these. He canceled my crit. I just want to try and build my rage bar up here. Alright, I'm gonna hindsight slash now. Yeah, this is where it gets bad. Like, if you can't get your enrage up though, it can get like a little scary and you can start taking a lot of damage. Alright. Now I have enrage, lagging a bit. Crit. You should get posture broken. Oh my god. If I were parrying more attacks and dodging more attacks, this could be doable. I feel like I could actually solo train on this build. But even if he just has those really broken vines. Okay, I'm posture broken. Get chart regen a little bit. I mean, it's the fact that I did half of his health just alone on stream without dying once. That's really okay. We have our Aegis Battle invincible now. Okay, we died. But look, I did all that damage. You know, it's like this build just has insane survivability. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Even though I didn't kill the Trent, most people wouldn't even get him that low without dying. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this build is also really good for fiends. It can kill anything, fiends, imps, any boss. You're always going to get credit. The boss is always going to be targeting you because you're going to be doing so much damage. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll drop more videos sooner. And I'll see you next time.